Glastrier and Spectrier might be the legendary duo with the largest power gap between them. Glastrier, the ice type, is ranked all the way down in NU, while Spectrier is ranked in Ubers. And it's pretty easy to see why, folks. Glastrier, despite having excellent base stats, is an ice type, the worst defensive type in the game, and it has 30 base speed. Not a good combination. The only place you would ever really use Glastrier is on Trick Room teams, which aren't great in competitive singles because of the limited amount of turns, and since Glastrier does not learn Trick Room itself, it needs support from teammates, and usually there are better slow bulky threats than this unfortunate horse with superior typing or other such utility. This Pokemon is a great case study as to why the ice type is no good. Meanwhile, Spectrier is a great case study as to why the ghost type is tremendous. Spectrier has a very shallow move pool. It basically just uses Shadow Ball Stab as its main attack. It doesn't actually have that much else. But with high special attack and high speed, as well as the defensive and offensive benefits of ghost typing, that's enough for this to be an overwhelming offensive threat. But as we know, folks, these two Pokemon are horses, and horses are wild animals. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't have any guidance, which is where Calyrex comes in. Calyrex on its own is not a very good Pokemon. It has measly stats, it's in the ZU rank, but Calyrex knows how to ride horses. And with Calyrex mounted atop these wild beasts, they finally can reach their full potential. Glastrier on its own is a idiotic horse with little to offer, a very bad quality horse, but with Calyrex atop, it becomes an actual Ubers level threat with significantly higher stats and an additional psychic typing. Spectrier is a pretty high quality horse, but with the support of Calyrex atop, it becomes the best horse in human history. Calyrex Shadow Rider is so good that it's one of the few Pokemon that have ever been banned from Ubers, in a select group including Mega Rayquaza and Zacian Crowned pre-nerf. And the reasoning for that is pretty clear. It's faster than the entire world, it has way too much special attack and a great offensive type combination, as well as the new benefit of terastallization. So even in their advanced forms, with the support of Calyrex, there's still quite a power disparity between these two. And Calyrex Ice-Rider at a glance seems like one of those legendaries that's Ubers ranked, but still isn't that good in the format. That's what you would assume anyway. Even though it's better than Glastrier, fundamentally it still has all the same shortcomings. It's an ice type, poor defensively, very slow, and with so many Ubers threats to contend with, surely this thing has an uphill battle in the Ubers format, right? That's what I assumed, until I saw this YouTube comment this morning, which illuminated me to the fact that Calyrex Ice-Rider is actually number 7 in usage in Ubers right now. I could scarcely believe such a thing, so I double checked, and lo and behold, folks, the Ubers rankings, look who's there at number 7, our favorite horse, Calyrex Ice-Rider, outranking even Arceus Ground and Groudon. How the heck is that possible? Why such a significant rise in a Pokemon that seems so fundamentally flawed? As it turns out, Calyrex Ice-Rider actually solves some important problems in the current Gen 9 Ubers metagame. As you may be aware if you've been playing Gen 9 OU recently, the return of Ribombee has propelled sticky web strategies to the forefront of the metagame. There weren't very many sticky web setters in the game before Ribombee, and all of them were pretty bad, such as Masquerain and Spidops, but Ribombee is the first good one. Not only is this Pokemon everywhere in OU, in Ubers it's also excellent. Fairy Stab with Moonblast greatly threatens both Miraidon and Koraidon, as well as the various dragon types in the format, and the offensive threats that you can enhance with the support of Sticky Web are even better in Ubers than they are in OU, such as Zacian Crowned, Eternatus and Koraidon here. This is a sticky web offense team built by the player Red Raven that I found on Smogon, and I'll link this in the description if you want to try it out. And this is where Calyrex Ice-Rider comes in. This is a team built by the player Zest of Life that I found, and the reason Calyrex Ice-Rider is being used is because it's an excellent response to sticky web teams. Although Glastrier does not learn Trick Room itself, Calyrex Ice-Rider actually does. And while some teams are all in on the plan of using Trick Room and slow, bulky offensive threats, this team absolutely isn't. These Pokemon are very fast. This is a Grimmsnarl, Reflect Light Screen offense team with a bunch of fast offensive threats. Against sticky web matchups, Calyrex Ice-Rider can come in, use Trick Room, and suddenly it is the worst nightmare of sticky web team. This set is using a fire defensive Terra type, which has a lot of applications. It allows you to resist Steel, which is great against Zacian Crowned, allows you to be immune to Burn, which is great against Skeledirge. You also resist Torch Song, which helps you in that matchup. But to be honest, Calyrex Ice-Rider against a lot of these web offense teams has the bulk to just live a hit, get that Trick Room off, and suddenly completely flip the script on the enemy's entire game plan. Calyrex Ice-Rider actually got a buff in the DLC in the form of the new move option High Horsepower, which is a really significant buff. Ice Ground is one of the best offensive type combinations in the game. This not only provides Calyrex Ice-Rider with the perfect coverage to complement Glacial Lance, the powerful stab option, it's also a really good fit in the Ubers metagame. There are a lot of ground weak Pokemon, including Miraidon, Zacian Crowned, Skeledirge, and it's also useful to punish Terra Fire users. Terra Fire is really popular in Ubers because it provides you a resistance to Zacian Crown stab combination as well as a burn immunity. So the newfound ability to threaten all those Terra Fire Pokemon is beautiful. It would have been great if I could show you a tournament replay here, folks, but unfortunately, due to the showdown replay mishap, all the tournament replays have been deleted by Iron Mugulis, I assume. But I did find this recent ladder replay between two players that look solid, and as you can see, both players are using Calyrex Ice-Rider. Neither player has a Zacian Crowned check here, so I guess they're both going to just lead off with Zacian Crowned and leave it up to fate. A couple Behemoth Blades, and Skyview is the more fortunate gamer this time around. Very similar teams, so we're seeing very similar turns. Both players going to Miraidon, both going to Arceus. But now Grimmsnarl has an opportunity to get the screens up. Rel, however, is on top of it, taunting enemy Arceus, denying that Swords Dance opportunity. But of course, Skyview can simply go straight to Koraidon, get the faster Swords Dance off, and probably shoot off a Scale Shot. Unless, of course, Scale Shot misses. What an excellent game we play. Yeah, Scale Shot Koraidon is seriously something else, folks. It does such damage and it also boosts speed. What a concept. But in comes Calyrex Ice-Rider to save the day. With that bulk, can it live this Scale Shot? Yes, it can. So actually Calyrex Ice-Rider operating pretty decently as a Koraidon check, and Calyrex Ice-Rider entering straight in against Koraidon. Terra Fire to dodge the Flare Blitz, gonna Trick Room up. Glacial Lance, the enemy Koraidon goes for the Terra Fire. And now with the defense drop, Glacial Lance earns the KO. Living Vacuum Wave, we're gonna take out Ursaluda Blood Moon, and look at that, Calyrex Ice-Rider cleaning up the game. Look at how good the offensive profile of Calyrex Ice-Rider is here. Threatens pretty much every single Pokemon on the team except, no, it literally threatens everything except the enemy's Calyrex Ice-Rider. Ice and ground coverage goes such a long way. With its natural bulk, it can act as a soft check to a lot of stuff. Terra Fire was well spent here. There you go, folks. Calyrex Ice-Rider is a great fit in the current Ubers metagame, ticking a lot of boxes at once. The current metagame is very offensively oriented, to be honest. Koraidon, Miraidon, and Zacian Crown dominate so much that you just see a lot of speed control, sticky webs. I even saw that Rabombi team was running Tailwind because there's just so many speed ties. So it makes a lot of sense that Calyrex Ice-Rider, a Pokemon that can use Trick Room to turn all that speed control stuff upside down and become a powerful threat, is thriving right now. It'll be interesting to see how the new DLC shifts the Ubers metagame, returning legendaries and probably all new legendaries to play with. But for now, Calyrex Ice-Rider is having its rare moment in the sun. What do you think about the current Ubers metagame, folks? I feel like it's extremely chaotic, perhaps even a bit unstable right now. Ubers is often like that, of course, but that replay we just watched was pretty insane. Thanks everybody, and I'll catch you later.
KO by one hit! It scattered light!
The money got different, cause of what I'm spending.